Well, thank you so much for staying with us. Well, that was a very revealing one. Now we have so many hospitals that can... So you don't have to go abroad to treat yourself.
I wasn't going to go abroad, Tele, so it's fine.
To go to where?
I was going to go local.
But you know, interesting thing is, well, that was for treatment. But what we want to talk about now is to prevent.
Prevent the need for the treatment. Right on.
So, they say health
it's infinitely cheaper.
Well, we'll find out. Because, I mean, some will tell you you need to change your diet and you live more, go more. What's that thing that the nutritionist said?
Organic?
Farm to table.
Farm to table.
The distance within the farm, from farm to table is very long.
It may be long, yeah.
And higher. Because, I mean, what's the price of one apple now?
Not really, not really. It doesn't have to be apple.
Well, I'm just saying.
They say eat the one that is in season.
Oh.
Apple is imported.
Don't forget that...
oranges, mangoes, guava.
What the accountant told us.
Yes.
That there are technologies that can put all fruits in season 24/7.
Yeah, but Nigeria hasn't done it.
Okay.
He said they didn't listen.
Let's come back to the conversation.
Thank you.
We have with us this morning Yonda Gbeniga, who is a lifestyle and wellness consultant. She's also CEO of Media Ideas Lifestyle and Wellness. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
First of all, define preventive health and healing.
Okay, so preventive health, the best perspective to look at it is you're trying to stop something that you know is going to happen from happening. So you see that, let me give a very medical explanation. You know that, oh, my dad is diabetic, my mom is diabetic, and my great-grandfather is diabetic, or all the family line are diabetic. So you're the next generation, and you're thinking...
Most likely.
This is autopilot, or this is a default run. So, but there are things you can do to ensure that you don't become diabetic. And that's where the lifestyle change and modifications and preventive health comes in. And
so there's nothing like congenital?
There are congenital diseases, but...
No, I'm talking about diabetes now.
Oh, yeah, there are.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, so I'll give an example of myself. Okay, so the family line, it's been a diabetic line. But as I sit here, my last reading was 85, blood sugar. So not even in a pre-diabetic zone, not diabetic or pre-diabetic. So there are modifications, actions, and changes that you can ensure you put into place so that you don't become diabetic. And that's the summary or the explanation of preventive health.
Are there exceptions to that?
The exception will be breaking the rule. Like, it's usually said that in epigenetics, I'm sorry, because of my background is biochemistry, so usually the examples that come to my head are more of chemical and genetic or quantum physics-based examples. So in epigenetics, there's a rule that says that, it's a coined rule anyway, that says your genes are a loaded gun and then your lifestyles trigger it, pull the trigger. So what it's saying is that you can have dormant genes, or you can have recessive genes, but you can introduce triggers that would make those genes start to have expression. So that would be like triggering genetic expression in you.
Okay, are there things, okay, maybe you want to first of all give us some examples. There are those who are going to come after you for saying that, you know, genes are loaded guns.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know they're going to come after you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and you're waiting for with your own bulletproof. Okay. But what are there things that you have seen in your practice that make people vulnerable to these, to not going or breaking, that make people vulnerable or susceptible to breaking the rules, if I can use that term? Okay,
so number one, if you know that you are genetically predisposed to a condition, maybe high blood pressure or diabetes, I mean, let me just stay with that, or maybe sickle cell anemia, oops, something. And you know that as a diabetic, you have no business with sugars. You know, that is going to stress your pancreas, it's going to make your insulin levels surge and all that. So there are things you should not, you have no business with some things. You have to live a regimented life, a controlled life. But one other thing I had seen in practice is that a lot of people do not know sub-health conditions, predispositions which they have. It might not be a dominant recessive, a dominant predisposition. That's where our scanning comes in, because we run biosensor AI tests. AI is artificial intelligence. And so we're able to look at your genetic mapping, and then we're able to say, oh, we can do a 1 to 5 year predisposition of possible complications. So we see these things are brewing, and you're fine, you're driving, you're going to parties, you're having a field day, but you're brewing that. And we can use the AI and the sensors to determine that. So those are some of the things that hold people back. They don't know what they're brewing. It's a sub-health state. They don't know what they're brewing, and so they have automatic expression of those conditions, and then they go down with it, alongside with just plain disobedience to lifestyle rules.
So
Pardon my language.
Are there any generic things that human beings can do that will be preventive of many of these conditions?
Okay, so the populace is focused on processed foods. We love fast foods a lot. You know, we want anything that is fast.
because we don't have time.
Yeah, but we need to, because we need to understand the damage that some of these artificial sweeteners, toxins, which we are having on, are doing to the cells. And you know, the problem is the damage is like genetic or very little. You can have DNA mutations, meaning altered genes, sorry. You can have DNA mutations when you take some of these things, and it takes time to express. So that's,
really?
Yes, it does
That's
take
scary.
time to express, yes. So maybe
Genetic
mutations, yes. You could have genetic mutations, maybe from exposure to very high radiation, okay? And you never know that anything is going on.
in your
You
body.
just notice over time. It could, like, exposures to radiations could trigger tumors and all sorts.
Cancers.
So, yes, the basic thing is going green, like they always say, yeah. Always sneaking an apple, sneaking a cucumber, always have that. You don't have to make it into smoothies and juices, but you could always incorporate them into your diet. As much as possible, ensure that you are the one who cooks your food, cooked food. Cooked food, yeah, but then the cooked food, you have to mix it with a lot of raw. So you're having maybe, and then if you don't have time to do the raw cooked thing, always be big on juices and smoothies. Now, I'm talking of natural juices. You have a lot of people out there selling smoothies and juices. Yeah, there's sugar, there's that. Start somewhere. Like, start. When you start, then you can progress to, okay, now I want to do it myself. I know this is good for me. I want to do it myself. But start. Okay. I mean,
the challenge here is, I mean, you said something quite instructive, and a number of people watching us now will be wondering, okay, what do I do? Because you just talked about the fact that people could trigger things in their systems without even knowing it.
Oh, yeah.
How do people know in order to prevent such vulnerabilities? How will anyone, for instance, know that they're genetically susceptible by virtue of going someplace or doing something? You know, how do people know?
Okay, well, I'll give a very generic answer. The first thing, like, you know, when you go to the hospitals, the first thing they do is take your history. They want to know your daddy, your mom, did they have all this? So you know that you are predisposed to something, okay? That's one. Then two...
Not everyone gets asked that question. I mean, you just go for, you get into a hospital you've never been, the first thing they're going to ask you is, do you have a card with us? You don't. Get the card first, and then we can. What is the truth, isn't it? You know, so get the card first, get the money, and then we can now start talking.
Well, that's business.
Come on, it's the truth, right?
Yeah, but when you are in consultation, in case you present with some conditions and your doctor is investigated, he should ask those questions.
Okay.
When doing case taking, when taking his case notes, so he should ask that question, and so you need to take a look inward so you know what is running in the family line. Then the second thing I always tell people is to scan. You need to check. You can't know what's going on, especially if it's asymptomatic for now, if you don't check. So that's where preventive health comes in and preventive health scanning comes in. So I see quite a lot of people, and I say it, I stand to be corrected, that the blood maintains homeostasis, that's balance. So sometimes you would do your annual medicals and everything will be fine. Why? Because the blood is trying to ensure that the balance is there. You know, by the time you start picking off your biochemical markers, your tumor markers from the blood, when you do your annual medicals, then the disease is already expressing. So you're in a war already. But if you can see your predispositions, because there are AI scanners that can pick as much as deviations from 10 to 100 cells. And so at that point, you are able to shut down whatever is going on. I've seen a few people who had some form of adenocarcinomas growing, and they went on a rampage, changed lifestyle, changed diet, did a lot of electrotherapy and all those stuff, infrared. And 2 years down the line, tumor marker had gone down. So waiting till things manifest in the bloodstream or in your annual medical is like, seriously?
Okay, now, if you can give us some generic counseling now, if I can say that. Today is Saturday. Some parties are going on already.
Oh, sure.
Some are going to start shortly. And people are going to go to work from Monday to Friday generally and all of that. What are some basic lifestyle changes you would recommend to anyone to prevent system shutdown in their bodies?
Yeah, so one of the basic things which we need to always have is we need to oxygenate, you know. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to sometimes incorporate that into your lifestyle regimen, which is exercises. So if you don't, you need to find a way of ensuring that you get an oxygen, especially post or pre or during the pandemic when we're already blocking our airways. So oxygenation is really important. Deep breathing, exercising in the mornings. If you can't do exercises, one of the things we do is called passive aerobics at the center. You can lie and we can swing you for every 5 minutes. You are on the passive aerobic exercise that you're doing 30 minutes. So we swing you for 15 minutes. That's 90 minutes of brisk walking. So exercising is very important. Passive aerobics, ensuring active aerobics is very important. Number 2 is regimen. You need to watch what you consume. Having a lot of processed foods, you should watch that. 3, you need to incorporate nature into what you're doing. It's a no-brainer. Even if you come in, do infrared, do electrotherapy, and do all that, you still need to change your diet. Your intake is important. So you need to get the essential nutrients. And so I had a lot of people say, oh, I don't need to supplement. Like, that's very good. Why do you need to get supplements? You do need to supplement because your food is not giving you enough nutrients. Number 1, you've cooked half of the nutrients away. So you need to supplement, but people don't know how to do that. That's why you need the services of a nutritionist or someone that does targeted supplemental therapies. So we know that, okay, there's a heart condition or there's a gastritis or something, and we know, okay, you need so and so and so supplement. Now, not some brands. Things like magnesium, Cocutan, all that, which you won't get in the regular hospital.
What does Cocutan do in the body?
Okay, Cocutan, that's coenzyme Q10, supports heart muscles. So when there is a myocarditis, that's myo is muscle, carditis is heart. So heart is cardio, then itis is inflammation. So you need to support that heart by introducing the coenzyme Q10, which helps the heart muscle in regeneration and in build-up and in function.
Are there any oh, we're running out of time.
You need to be focused if you're doing that.
Focused
On it's not I took 2 caps and it's gone. Supplements go into the body and try to heal, so they don't shut down pain pathways, which drugs will do. A drug will shut down a pain pathway so that you don't feel the pain. Supplements go in and heal, so you have to be consistent with supplements.
But they have to be, what's the word now, recommended?
Yeah,
so you
should
see
actually.
Your doctor for...
No, doctors don't do supplements.
Oh.
It's the nutritionist and the lifestyle guys that do supplements.
Okay. So, we've run completely out of time. I wish we'd have more time with you. But for now, we have to thank you very much for telling us that we can prevent rather than wait to cure. I wish we had more time, right? Yonda Beniga, lifestyle and wellness consultant. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you very much. It was
Truly
a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
MD. Doctor.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So next is what were we doing now?
The home stretch.
The home stretch, and I understand.
It's come pretty soon today, hasn't it?
Yes.
Pretty early.
It comes so like that when you're having fun.
Yes.
But we'll be back right after now, and it's the home stretch afterwards.